Yes, you can hear me. So, good afternoon, Francois Raynaud. As Radu was explaining, I'm the founder of DevSecCon Limited. That's not going to mean a lot to you. So, DevSecCon Limited is basically a conference and also a way to spread security within DevOps, cloud industry, and how to embed security from the start. So DevSecCon is like development security con, not a con as in we try to con people out, but it's a conference. So what has security ever done to us until now? So if anybody knows Monty Python, that's going to ring the bell for you. If not, sorry, I've lived too long in England. So yes, Renault 12 was still popular when I was a child, so I wasn't born yesterday. So I've spent 17 years in security. I'm not an angry businessman. I actually love security. I actually love all the, well, that was loud, all the cloud, the embracement of DevOps methodology. And to be honest, after 17 years, I'm a bit fed up because we haven't done anything, we haven't made any progress, and security is still an afterthought. So why do I say that? Compliance is not taken seriously. People don't care about it. They're just waiting for the GDPR now to actually come in place, and suddenly there's going to be, oh guys, you need to pay about 5% of an annual turnover. In England, people are still saying, oh, we've got the ICO, that's fine, it's only 2% of global turnover, so that's fine. Bad news, 2 days ago, Elizabeth Brenman, the new chairman of the ICO, just said when Brexit is going to occur, it's going to be the same percentage. So 5% of your global turnover will need to be paid. That's not really good. And breaches are occurring on a daily basis. Nobody really cares. It's just like news that we all knew about. So some of them that I just wanted to call out from a DevOps and cloud point of view. Obviously, all of them are DevOps and all of them are cloud. I'm not going to talk about the bottom right-hand side. We all know about it. I don't want any red faces in the audience. But one of the really good one is going to be code spaces. So code spaces, they were really good, completely embracing the cloud. And I say, we're going to put everything in the cloud. We're going to put our backups, and we're going to put our encryption keys as well. And some little hacker, not me, just took it and deleted everything. In 2 days, the business was completely gone. There was no trace of this business on the internet, apart from that was old news. Take TalkTalk. That's an interesting one. So TalkTalk, they had a major breach that occurred 2 years ago. I was part of the investigation team, and that was really sad to look at. So basically what happened is they acquired companies and it just left them completely riddled with vulnerabilities. And somebody came along, SQL injection, and managed to draw out 158,000 customer details. So that could be you, that could be me. But what is interesting is the fine given by the RCO was only about 400,000 euros. So that makes the cost of an identity about like €2, €2.50. I actually have to pay more on the black market for identities. So that's brilliant. The government is actually helping all the hackers to actually make sure that it doesn't cost a lot to steal identity. We can talk about T-Mobile. LastPass was a wonderful one. Everybody, I'm sure, must use it. It's a good way to actually store your password, keep it securely. Unfortunately, they had a breach. So that's the problem. So who do you trust? How do you trust people? So another one that actually came out 2 days ago, it's RoHammer. So I don't know if anybody of you knew about RoHammer. So RoHammer about 5 years ago started a bit of an attack on called Bitflipping. And what they were trying to do is attacking shared architecture within the cloud industry. What they've done nowadays is they've been able to perform a bit more targeted attack. Before it was like a bit of a spray and pray. It was just like, I'm going to just spray everybody and just hope that I'm going to get some kind of collation between two companies. So you're going to say, I've got a cloud provider. That's the best. It doesn't matter. Well, actually, how for this application and this attack only works on really good cloud providers. So it's depending on the RAM that you use within a cloud computing. So you're going to say, normally the attack is going to look at really bad RAM, but actually it's the most quality RAM that allows the attack. So what have we done wrong? So we all know this slide. That's what happened. So that's DevOps, cloud security. And security has been in the back end. Okay, it's a bit graphical, so sorry about that. So that's why I tried to put a bit of a rainbow here. And I don't really like that. So basically, developers, release managers, business, they spend years and years, they spend lots of money to actually get this release out. And security hasn't been told about it. There is no requirement, there is nothing. So we're just coming at the back and it's just like, wow, we've got to secure this thing now, it's in the cloud. You can't really do that. So I was lucky enough to be part of Verizon back in the noughties, when at the time where we were providing cloud services, but that wasn't cloud, that was just somebody else's computer. And from there, what we actually brought together is a methodology to actually bring the people together and ensure that security is built in. So that's what I would like to see, which is, okay, sounds a bit, my daughters were really happy about the slide, there are some unicorns, and we're just like changing the hoof, we're just making them happy, but that's how it should be. We're just starting, so before you go in the cloud, start going by just like, what do we do in security? How can we help? How can we bring those requirements from the start and ensuring that security doesn't come in after so? You can reuse this slide. It's not proprietary, but actually it's a good way to just say, go from there to there. It's actually a bit prettier. There's still the rainbow coming out of the DevOps unicorn, but that's how it goes. DevOps unicorn. So I will always make a comparison between DevOps and cloud. There wouldn't be any DevOps, there wouldn't be any cloud without any DevOps, and vice versa. The ability for the cloud to actually benefit the company is the iterative process. So how do we change that? Because at the moment, everybody's thinking, oh, that's all right, I'm just going to get this appliance and that's going to solve all my problems. There is not an out-of-the-box tool set that is going to anticipate your business goals. It's not going to anticipate your risk exposure. It's not going to anticipate what you should do in case of a breach. A cloud provider, as I said at the beginning, it's somebody else's computer. They're really happy. They're going to say, well, we're going to provide you that. The rest is your problem. So how do we change it? Because at the moment, security, if we still think about security as an afterthought, security is uneconomic. And everything which is uneconomic and not working, that should actually be gone. So how do we close the gap? I'm going to go a bit further in those, so don't need to actually try to remember them by heart, but it's quite simple. It's basically think about security from the start. Think about your business processes. So what is your business driver? So as a security architect, I take my business driver and I ensure there is a direct lineage always to every control. If a control hasn't got a direct lineage to your business driver, forget it. This is not required by the company. You've got some companies that have got a medium risk appetite, which is, well, I don't care if all my tills are open, this is what I consider to be my risk appetite. So I'm not going to read through them because I'll go a bit further into those. And all this is a methodology that has been called DevSecOps. So the DevSecOps methodology is basically empowering your developers, your full stack engineers, all your engineers to actually give them the tools to actually be better. So you empower them, you just give them the ability to just produce security, part of their code, part of their stack, part of the architecture. So, how do we achieve that? So, change it. It's quite simple. Security is not an abstract art. We don't do magic. There is nothing. I'm not a magician. I'm not more clever than anybody else in the room. We just like sit down, try to understand, and we just like take apart each of those applications, try to understand what they're doing. So take your policy. So the policy that, I don't know if anybody is working in security, but having worked in security, that has been gorgeous. So you had a policy, an infrastructure security policy, which is about 500 pages. Nobody ever read it. The only thing we used it is to bash people across the head, just say, don't come close to me, this is secure here, read that. Why do you make them read it? Be transparent, explain to them. Actually go a bit further, translate it as code. You can actually build your security policy as code, build it within your OpenStack, as Christophe was saying. And you use the QA process. The QA process is just basically, does it do what it's supposed to do? And you just flip it around and you say, is this attack successful? No. Great. Let's move to the next one. And you use all the iterative process. The continuous integration is absolutely lovely. I love it. It's really fast. All security people would say, oh, wow, how are we going to control everything which is going in the cloud? We can control it if security is built in from the start. What else can we do? We automate it. I remember having a team of 40 people doing security incident response. After 2 years, when I developed this concept, I had 12 of them. Okay, 28 people were really not happy. I actually made myself redundant as well, but that's good. It's just like, you can actually look at yourself and say, I've done my job. I've actually given the information to the rest of the company. Use the pet and kettle methodology. So pet and kettle, I don't know if you're familiar with it, but it's a pet, when you get sick, you just take care of it. You just bring it to the vet. That's costing you a lot of money. You just give them some vaccines, etc., etc. The same as security was. You just like take your server, you just like patch it, you just maintain it, etc., etc. No, use it as a kettle. As a farmer, I'm not a farmer, but I imagine like if you're a farmer, your kettle is sick, you just shoot it, get another one, done. That's what we want to do from a security point of view. So don't nurture this kind of thing, just get rid of them, replace it. And that you use it with the continuous security, with the continuous integration, with the continuous delivery. So that allows you, so if you look at this continuous development, we can actually plug in security processes, security tools, vulnerability management. Why do you run a vulnerability management at the end when everything is in production? Start from the beginning. You start, you create an immutable image, you scan it, and you understand that you've got vulnerabilities. The developers can't go further in the development process until everything is fixed. So there is nothing which is going to go into this continuous delivery process which is not going to be secure by design. That's quite simple. It's not revolutionary, it's just using the tool at your disposal. And change the metrics for security, they're completely awful. So from a security point of view, we've been measured and it's just time to detect, time to respond, time to contain. No, it's time to replace. Basically, is this server which is infected, the time it takes you to actually detect it and replace it by a new one, that's the new metrics. We've actually managed to do it in a different company who's actually based in Romania as well, in Cluj, that's Betfair. We could actually redo a whole data center under 42 minutes. That has been done using OpenStack, Ansible, Chef, all the vulnerability management. I can see some heads nodding, so obviously you must know about it. And that's wonderful. It took us 2 years to do it, but the savings, apart from all the cost of the salary of my team and myself, has been amazing. That's what we need to do, which is basically just like, do it right from the start. Build your security inside, so make your controls inside your delivery pipeline. Last but not least, train your developers. It's really easy. They are the people introducing vulnerabilities within your toolset. It's not a security person which is introducing a vulnerability. Security person is actually just finding the vulnerability. But what a security person should do is teach the developer how to write secure code, how to be more secure from the beginning. So evaluate the skills of your developers, tailor some development processes. One of the things that we should be careful, if you hear security awareness training, just tell them out. I don't want to hear from you. It's security awareness and training. First, you need to make the people aware. What is a security vulnerability? What is an issue? What is an incident? You create this culture. Once you've got this culture, the people understand, actually, yes, I can recognize it. Create some capture the flags. Let the developers do it. Don't go to Black Hat, DEFCON, and just like, between security people, who's going to be the quickest one to actually capture the sheep? That's not interesting. That's all what we're doing. Do it with the developers. Last time I've run it, that was actually in Portugal, but that was a subsidiary of Betfair, Blip. They had 5 vulnerabilities to find. One of them finds 7. I felt really stupid. But at the same time, I was just like, you're the best. Actually, you should come and work for us because you understand the methodology. You've been able to go further, take the tools, take the information that we're giving you, and apply it. It's not hard. So go in depth. Teach them everything that you know. There is nothing that I know that a developer shouldn't know. And my knowledge is not black hat, as I was saying in the beginning. It's coming from books, it's coming from sitting down like you at a conference and just like, what has this person got to say? There are many more interesting people than myself, don't worry. And last but not least, the security folk will never be a good developer. We just completely crap at developing. We can't do it. I couldn't save my life for it. But a developer will actually can write secure code. That's not hard. Tell them. Embed your test within your delivery pipeline. As I was saying before, use your QA process. So where do we go from there? Who does that? So first and foremost, I'm an independent contractor. I have no ties with any of those companies, so don't take my word for it, but just look at them and just think about how they're doing things differently. So if I start from the top left, DevSec.io, they used to be called Harden.io, but that wasn't really working properly from a marketing point of view, so they just changed it to DevSec. And what they're doing, they're providing you some tools and some manifest that you can incorporate within Chef, Ansible, Puppet. And from the start, they will configure your machine to be secure. So you started with a secure architecture. What can go wrong? Quite a few things, but actually you've got a good basis there. That's the same as the CIS benchmark. So the CIS benchmark is Center for Internet Security. They've been around for about 17 years, no relation to myself. I participated in it, and which is basically we give to the community the information. If you think IBM, for example, I've got tech specs, and that's how they run all the data center. Tech specs are exactly the same as the CIS benchmark. So if they come to you and say, I'll sell it to you for 100,000 euros, just tell them, I can get it for free on the internet. Just implement that. Actually, IBM, you should be better. You should provide it for free. Don't make us pay for something that you should be doing from the beginning. You might start to notice the trend here. It's just like, I've got a bit of a problem with big vendors that are trying to just like shoehorn, to just like square peg, round hole. The BDD Framework, so that has been around for about 10 years. It's test-driven development. So that's what I've been talking about, which is incorporate all your security with it and just let them run. Everything that I'm talking here, this is completely open source. There is nothing you have to pay for, apart from the last two bottom ones. Chef.io, well, I don't need to explain what Chef.io is doing, so it's basically supporting all this continuous delivery. And they can take all your script, use them. So same for Puppet. Puppet is actually just expanding, gathering information for you as a security professional or as a DevOps on how to make secure architecture. Intelligent security is so I've been in conversation with them for the past 2 years. It's really interesting. So what they've done, I was talking about this security policy that we used to bash people around the head with. You have the same with all the firewall policy. It's just like how no developer is understanding a firewall policy. They're just like, oh my God, what is it? How does it make sense? Why can't you finish? Why can't you start with your allow any? Just, well, I wonder why. What they're doing, they're actually automating that. They're actually giving you a graphical representation of your assets. And you just say, those machines, they're my PCI machines. They can actually talk to this one, nothing else. And that creates manifest files that can be embedded by Chef.io, Puppet Labs, Ansible, Artifactory, you name it. That's what they're doing for you. They're actually just giving you for free the ability to implement free stuff for you to get better. Easy. OWASP, it's the Open Web Application Security Program. I've worked a lot with them, and they're providing things like the ZAP proxy, which is allowing you to understand any kind of vulnerabilities that you've got within your code. Are you embedding security? Are you sanitizing your code? Are you sanitizing your input and your output, etc., etc. Immune.io, that's one of the commercial ones, unfortunately. It's a Canadian company. They actually just released their product 6 months ago. They've been working on it on an R&D for 2 years. And what they're doing, they're just providing vulnerability management part of continuous delivery. It's wonderful. I will invite you to just go and have a look at them. It's a good starter. There's many more. They're always growing. There's plenty of unicorns around the world, as we've seen at the beginning. Some are not pretty. Some are really good. If you want to use them, go quickly, because there will be an IBM, there will be an Accenture, which is going to just snap them, and actually, after, you'll have to pay for them. Simple. So, just to finish, that's basically what I'm doing, which is DevSecCon. So we started last year. We had 250 attendees from all around the world, and it was basically how can we create secure solutions from the start. And it's basically providing back to the community. So I've got lots of security folks, lots of French are coming here and just teaching to DevOps. This is how you do it. Please take it for free. We run workshop and all these things. This year we're actually redoing it in London, and we managed to expand in Singapore. So we just created a subsidiary in Singapore, which is going to look at training all Asia Pac. So that's going to take place in February. I invite you, have a look, give me a call if you want a discount code and anything. It's really cheap, don't worry about this. I'm not to make a sale here, but it's just really just get engaged in a community. We're not really bad security folks, we're just like you and me. There's nothing wrong with us. Okay, we're a bit weird, we like to work late in the evening and just like looking at code and just like working on, yeah, different kind of weird stuff, but that's who we are. So that was my presentation. It's quite easy. If you've got any questions, please let me know. Hopefully that was straightforward. If you want some more drawings of unicorns, I can do that for you. Unfortunately, there will be my wife at the back, which will be doing them because I've got terrible drawings. But any questions? Well, that was clear then. Thank you very much. Have a good day.